And we are live! Hello everybody and welcome to the Integrity Racing League 2021 season, round 11 from the Dover International Speedway. Good evening everybody, I'm Jonathan Oates and joining me tonight in the broadcast booth is Isaac Johnson. Isaac, how are you doing tonight? Well, I'm sure he'll show up eventually. Anyways, tonight we are at the Dover International Speedway in Dover, Delaware for 200 laps here at the track nicknamed the Monster Mile. And you're going to see why a lot of drivers are going to be struggling with this racetrack, one of the harder ones to drive on the iRacing service. We'll go over a couple of trouble spots now as the field begins to roll off here. That is not the right ticker. We'll pull up the right one. There we go. As the field begins to roll off here at the 1 mile concrete oval. The toughest part, I'd say, about this track is the exit of turn 2. We've seen multiple times in the past that it is very easy to get up and out of that outside wall, so you're going to see drivers taking it nice and easy out of there, not wanting to hit that as they come off turn 2. I do think the biggest challenge of the night, though, is going to be making sure the tires last for a long period of time. It's easy enough to be fast on a short run here at Dover, but being fast over the course of an entire race could be a very different story. 21 cars set to take the green flag here as the field rounds through turns 3 and 4, so it's looking likely that we'll have a lot of green flag runs, as we don't have a very packed racetrack for tonight's race. So 200 laps, 200 miles ahead of these drivers. Pace car going to dive off into the pit lane this time by. We are ready to go here in the Integrity Racing League. Ethan Lane on pole alongside Kevin Matz. Pace car is off.
Sorry I was late.
Welcome back, Isaac. Pace car is off. We are waiting for green.
Standing by.
We're underway for the Monster Mile. Green flag is out.
Pandemonium shall ensue, because it is Dover after all.
And down towards turn number 1, everyone keeping it clean so far. Ethan Lane in the lead over Kevin Matz as they round turn 2. Matz done, then Tarabuck rounding out your top 4s. The field roars down the back straightaway. Everyone keeping it out of the wall so far. Ethan Lane looking to lead lap 1 as they come through turns 3 and 4. It will be the 26 machine out front early as he leads lap 1. Down into 1 and 2 once again, still Ethan Lane pulling away from the field here. Matt's working the bottom, not really arcing up through center, making a little bit of ground there on Ethan Lane as they come off turn 2 and down the back straightaway. Side by side behind, it is Todd Thomas on the inside of Caitlin Height. Height backs out of that, now Patton up wide. Here comes Tom Wetmore looking to take advantage. But everyone keeping it clean so far. Single file for the most part. They did go side by side behind, but they are back down to single file. Side by side for 18th, that is Nick Zotner down the inside of Christopher Daniel. He's going to take that spot away. Alan Rowell rounding out the field in P20. But back up front, it is Lane over Matz over Dunn as they come to lap 4. You can see already. Go ahead.
Sorry, Lane looks like he washed up the track a little bit there, and Matt's had a run at him coming through the center of the corner. I believe that's the back straightaway there. I'm not very well versed at Dover, so forgive me for getting corners and straightaways mixed up here.
In a 1 and 2 once again, William Dunn takes away second from Kevin Matz. Now Nick Tarabuck looking underneath the 50 machine for that third place spot. It is going to be Tarabuck working down the inside. Matz holding strong on the outside line, but Tarabuck now on the inside is going to take that spot away, going to 3 and 4. 5 laps down, coming to 6, Ethan Lane getting a little bit of pressure from behind as William Dunn works his way up to the bumper of Ethan Lane. A little bit wider in a turn 1 there, not wanting to force the car down low. Off turn 2, here comes Dunn on Lane. They are single file up front. Dunn looked at the move, but backed out as they go into turn 3 and 4. Down the front straightaway for the 7th time tonight, William Dunn still looking at the move on Ethan Lane, but he is falling back a little bit, maybe opening up the door to Nick Tarabuck. Riding in behind those top 2 as Dunn gets a run off turn 2, trying to look to the inside of Lane, backs out of it, nothing there as they go to turn 3.
Good old friend tire saving coming to make this race not really interesting right now, but give it 50 or so laps and the old thinking part of the brain's going to start kicking in here, and it's going to keep you nice and wrapped in here this race early on.
I think tire saving, like you said, is going to be a big part of success here tonight. You got to make sure the tires stay on the car for a long period of time, not just a couple of laps. So it makes me wonder if some of the drivers we see out front right now are going to start falling back as the tires start to wear a little bit more. And a big run by William Dunn through the center of the corner. That might hurt his tires a little bit, but he got a lot of momentum there. Off turn 2, trying to get to the back bumper of Ethan Lane. 3 cars under a blanket in the top 3 as they go towards turns 3 and 4. Dunn gonna have the run here off turn 4 as they come to start lap 10.
Very neat and tidy, very neat and tidy. Nothing really crazy yet.
William Dunn still looking for that move on Ethan Lane. Nothing there as they go into 3 and 4. Now here comes Eric Crow down the inside of Kevin Matz. Matz holding on the high side as they enter turn 3 and 4. Into the wall off turn 4 goes William Dunn. Just tagged the outside wall a little bit, and that's going to let Nick Tarabuck go down the inside. Kevin Matt's going to go through with him, but Dunn fights back on the high side and holds on to that 3rd spot. Coming to start lap 12, this time by, it is Lane over Tarabuck. New up into the top 2 is Nick Tarabuck. Getting a big run there through the center of the corner. It does look like Ethan Lane just kind of backing up his center a little bit more than everyone else is. Maybe trying to save the tires a little more. Got to make sure that this car stays good over a long run. Can't be good early on and then fade late. Because I do have a feeling that we're going to see a lot of green flag runs here tonight. William Dunn, big run off turn number 4, trying to get to the inside of Nick Tarabuck. He is going to back out at the last second. Nothing there.
Man, you can almost see the hesitation in the group here, how close everyone is to each other. They're almost hesitant to make moves this early on.
Now we do see Eric Crow down the inside of Kevin Matz. Matt's going to slip up off turn 4, and that is going to let Eric Crow file into 4th place. Now Matt's under attack from Jacob Fife. Fife slips by on the inside as well. I think he is going to be clear down to Wetmore. No, Wetmore going to file through as well. So Kevin Matz losing a lot of spots on the outside line. Not a lot of grip up there, and that is going to move him back early. Side by side for the lead. Nick Tarabuck down the inside. Going to take away the lead this time by. Coming on lap 15, it is going to be Nick Tarabuck at the front. But how about that? Ethan Lane fights back up top. There's a big gaggle of cars behind. Cody Smith in the 18 in that mess as well. Prevailing over Kevin Matz is off turn 4. Tarabuck going to try and make another charge at the race lead. You can just see the advantage through center there that Nick Tarabuck has over Ethan Lane. Lane really letting the car stop through the center of the corner and pushing it back down on exit. Definitely not forcing that car to get down through the corner. But he's doing a good job holding on the outside line on exit. Battle behind. Tom Wetmore works his way down the inside of Eric Crow and up into the top 5. Christopher Schetzler now holding on over Caitlin Height. That battle for P8 is there side by side behind for 9th. A lot of action so far. Everyone just kind of bunched up here. Running in a train on that bottom line here. Lap 18 underway now as Jacob Fife works his way past the 43 of William Dunn. Now here comes Tom Wetmore down the inside of the 43 machine. He's going to work his way up into 4th place. Good move by Wetmore to take away the spot from Dunn, but he is going to fight back on the outside line. Unfortunately, that run is going to fizzle out for Dunn. Now he is going to be under attack from Eric Crow. Side by side, Crow and Dunn. Dunn fights back on the high side and clears Crow going down the back straightaway. Battle back up for 2nd. Nick Tarabuck now under attack from Jacob Fife. Tarabuck starting to move up the track, looking in that middle line through 3 and 4. I think as the tires wear, driver's going to be looking up the track for more grip. Isaac, any thoughts on the tires kind of wearing out here and the grip kind of moving around?
Dover's an unknown quantity to me, so I don't really know, but what I can tell you is the last race I commentated at Charlotte, I can can probably give you a few ideas that this might go the same kind of direction where we're gonna see multiple pit strategies based on tires, because these guys are really good at just not wrecking. And another interesting point from Charlotte, I think Tom Wetmore still might have that finish in the back of his head. He might be trying to, make the difference from that and try and get another win this season. I believe he just had one already, right?
Yeah, Tom Wetmore won all the way back in Martinsville, was very strong at Charlotte, another one of those heavy green flag races we saw, but was not able to get the win. It was Caitlin Height who played the tires and strategy right to get the win there in Charlotte. We'll see if a similar thing happens tonight, although currently she is mired back in P8, struggling a little bit early on. Meanwhile, Nick Tarabuck has dropped off the back bumper of Ethan Lane quite a bit. Ethan Lane, one of the stronger drivers here in the Integrity Racing League, almost won at Talladega before that win was revoked later on. So Ethan Lane still going for his second win of the season, working lap 23 of 200.
Second official win of the season.
True, it would be third on-track win, but second official win.
It would be the third checkered flag he has taken. However, the trophy would not go to him 3 times.
That is one way to put it. Working lap 24 now, and an update on stages. Keep in mind there are no cautions for the stages, however you will earn points for winning a stage. Stage 1 concluding at lap 50, Stage 2 conclusion at lap 100. The rest of the race will be ran in Stage 3 from lap 100 to 200, and that is going to settle it out here at Dover. Tarabuck getting a bit of a second wind here, getting back up to the bumper of Ethan Lane, working lap 25. The gap between them is about a 1/10.5. In a 3 and 4 under the Ally Bridge, Ethan Lane still leading over Nick Tarabuck. Lane has led every single lap in this race so far, but Tarabuck has been one of his closest contenders down towards turns 3 and 4. Tarabuck's got a run here. Let's see if he can do anything with it.
This is going to be one of those races where you need to woe yourself up. You need to not push the issue.
Yeah, it's definitely...
Fall back on what you know.
It's
what you got for tires.
It's definitely going to take a couple of laps as well to try and set up that pass. You can't really go for it all at once. You kind of got to make inches up on the guy in front, and then eventually, when you have the opportunity to, make that move to the inside. But you can't do it all at once. You got to really wind it up for a couple of laps. .3 now between your race leaders, working lap 28 of 200 here at Dover. Main battle on track is right now for the race lead, but a bit of action going on behind as Caitlin Height recently got her way around Christopher Schetzler. Schetzler falling back, but for the most part, the entire field right now single file. Back up to your race lead. Ethan Lane still leading over Tarabuck, who might have tagged the wall there out of turn 4. Looked like he got very close indeed to that outside wall. Doesn't look like there's any damage to the right side of that 4 machine, though, so it looks like he might be all right. Battle on track now for P3. Tom Wetmore gaining an advantage here over Jacob Fife. Just goes a little wide through 3 and 4. Going to cost him some time. But he has been gaining on that 36 machine pretty much every lap. Working lap 30 now. Wetmore looking for third.
So, Jonathan, I regret to inform you that I need to go address a automobile emergency. I will forfeit my pay for this as well.
Well,
I will see you all at the next race.
Well,
sorry.
We'll see you later, Isaac. I guess it'll just be me for the rest of this race.
Have fun. I'm sorry for leaving you.
I will do my best to have fun. So right now it is Lane over Tarabuck, leading at Dover, lap 32 of 200 underway. Not too much has happened so far. No lead changes. No strategy. End of stage 1 coming up on lap 50. So that'll be in about 20 laps time. not, too much going on right now. Comparing last lap times, that might give us something to talk about. Okay, well, ATVO isn't letting me click on that, so we'll just have to do this manually. Fastest car last time by was Tom Wetmore inside the top 5. Battle for second starting to heat up as Jacob Fife gets closer to the bumper of Nick Tarabuck. This is a battle for second right now. Fife with the run off the corner, going to get to the bumper of Nick Tarabuck, coming up on 15 to go in stage 1. Off turn 2, headed for turn 3. Tom Wetmore still taking a little bit of time out of Tarabuck's second place. It looks like they might be now gaining on Ethan Lane for the race lead, so Lane might have used up some of his stuff. Four tenths now between your race leaders, as here comes Jacob Fife looking at a move on Tom Wetmore, on Nick Tarabuck for P2. Down the inside, it is going to be side by side off turn 2 this time by. Coming to lap 37, it is to, Jacob Fife taking away the spot, but that is going to cost him a couple of tenths to race leader Ethan Lane. Fife, though, does work his way down the inside. Up in a second goes Jacob Fife. Now that'll put Tom Wetmore on the inside of Nick Tarabuck going into turn 3 and 4. Wetmore backs out of it. Coming up on 10 to go stage 1, Jacob Fife still trying to run down Ethan Lane, but no lead changes so far. It is Ethan Lane still leading. Battle for 10th now, Eric Crow getting onto the bumper of Alec Daffin. That 07 machine fell back early on, might be working his way back through the field now, looking on the inside towards turns 3 and 4. Jacob Fife closing in on Ethan Lane with under 10 to go this time by in the stage. Crow not able to get to the inside of Alec Daffin. Might get a run here off turn 2, though. He is going to look inside, headed for turn 3. Daffin not going to be able to fight him off as Eric Crow works down the inside, and up into the top 10 goes Eric Crow. This battle is for the last spot in the points-paying stage spots. Now Jody Banfield working his way down the inside of Eric Crow. Sorry, Alec Daffin. Banfield takes that spot away and is free to chase after Eric Crow for the final points-paying spot in the stage. A little bit of contact off turn 2 as Daffin makes his way back down the inside of Banfield. But this battle on that, not all that important in the grand scheme of things, because the last points-paying spot in the stage is P10, and right now Eric Crow has that one pretty much locked up. Battle for the lead starting to heat up a little bit as Jacob Fife makes some inroads on Ethan Lane, under 10 to go in the stage. Three-car battle for second place. So far, no one able to make a move in that three-car battle, but it does look like that whole group is slowly maybe gaining on Ethan Lane. The gap is extended that time by, so Lane might have just been saving up a little bit. Keep in mind, though, this is just for the stage win. The overall win is an entirely different story. 5 laps to go, stage 1. Ethan Lane led the whole thing so far, looking to continue leading the whole thing. No lead changes thus far, and has kept the tires on his car. 5/10 between first and second. It does look like Ethan Lane is going to win this stage. Still pretty stagnant here at the front of the field. We'll have to see if anyone is going to come into pit road soon, although I'm guessing they can make it to about lap 100, so I think, given that the tires make it, they will be able to make this race on a one-stop. Oh my. Gap at the front is extended to 7/10 of a second. Last lap, stage 1 this time by is going to be Ethan Lane winning the stage unless something catastrophic happens. I'm guessing that right about now the tires aren't feeling too great on these machines. Turn 4, checkered flag, stage 1. It is going to be Ethan Lane picking up the victory in stage number 1. 1/4 of the way down in this race. Battle for second might be heating up here between Tarbuck and Fife. Yeah, right now the field just doesn't really have much for Ethan Lane. He's been dominant all day, so I doubt anyone's really going to be able to stop him here, save for maybe a late race yellow. There's really not much going on right now. Couple of cars coming into the pit lane, though. This might be a little interesting. Michael Dwell, Alan Rowell, Christopher Daniel all into the pit lane. We'll see if Ethan Lane comes in anytime soon. We might see some strategy unfolding. Now, they can, in theory, go about 100 laps on fuel, but if they're stopping at lap 50, I'm guessing they're going to go 50, 100, 150, and maybe extend a stint or two along the way. If they're going to wait a little bit more, I think the only other plausible strategy would maybe go 60, 120, 180, or maybe 70, 140, and then get to the end of the race. Personally, I think the 70 stint is going to be the way to go here, because you want to try and reduce the amount of pit stops you got to make. Why don't we go ahead and go on board with Nick Tarbuck in his battle for second with Jacob Fife. You can see Fife just diamonds the corner a little bit more, gets a really nice drive off, but isn't quite as strong through center as Tarbuck. We've seen that pretty much all race with Nick. So working lap 57, it is still Lane, Fife, and Tarbuck, your top three. And I have a feeling Lane is going to be coming in at least soon. I'm guessing he's not going to try a one-stop because I think the tires are going to be a little bit too hurt by then. But a two-stop definitely in the realm of plausibility. So far, though, Duell, Raul, and Daniel have been the only ones to come into the pit lane. No one else has made that call. So that does make me think that the majority of the field here is either on a longer two-stop, or sorry, a longer three-stop, or just a two-stop, or potentially a one-stop. If someone maybe in the back wants to try and mix things up. I have a feeling a one-stop just might not be worth it with the tires and how much they weigh. Definitely possible to blow a right front if you're not careful. Bit of a battle here behind Nicholas Ward for P11. Daffin coming back at Eric Crow, who got around him earlier in the race. Ethan Lane coming up on the lapped car of Nick Zotner. Nick gonna get out of the way there going into turns 3 and 4. Leaves Ethan Lane in clear air. So still the battle for second, the closest one on track. And here goes Nick Tarabuck down the inside of Jacob Fife. Coming back at him after Fife got him all those laps ago. And Tarabuck completes the pass easily. Up in a second goes Tarabuck. Fife coming back down the back straightaway. But he's going to hang on. Michael Duell on fresh tires, unlapping himself with Tom Wetmore. That's going to be the difference right there between old and new tires. But I just think he's too many laps down to make that strategy work. You'll see it right here again. Michael Duell down into turn number 1, just so much faster on those fresher tires. As Tarabuck gets back around Fife. Now Duell on the outside of Tarabuck takes that spot away as well, albeit not for position. And Tom Wetmore comes into the pit lane from P4, going to be the first of the front runners to bring it in. Maybe just outside of the two-stop window, but not if he decides to extend a stint. We got trouble. William Dunn spins it coming into the pit lane. We'll take a look at a replay. Not the hardest thing to do here at Dover. Looks like he might have just locked up the tires coming in. No, actually, he clipped the barrels, and that is what sent him around. So up front, Ethan Lane, your race leader. Cody Smith, I think he was actually just exiting the pit lane. Not entirely sure what that was. Just looked like he was caught on the apron there. Nicholas Ward brings it down pit road. I do believe that Cody Smith is coming in this time by. Onto the apron nice and safely into the pit lane. Back up front, Ethan Lane still leading. No signs of pitting just yet. This does put Wetmore in undercut range, though. And I do think Lane is going to try and bring it in this time by. Actually, no, he's just way slower through the center of the corner compared to fresh tires. So Smith brings it in along with Eric Crow and Kevin Matz. We'll keep an eye out for the leader, Ethan Lane. Still out on track is Ethan Lane, so is Tarbuck and Fife. Schetzler up into the top 5. Caitlin Height putting pressure on him for 4th. Now at this point, it makes me think all these drivers might be trying to go to the one stop. It'd be a little surprising though. Eric Crow coming out of the pits now. And Ethan Lane brings it in from the race lead for his first stop of the day, just inside of the 2-stop window. So not going to be a 1-stop for Ethan Lane. This is going to be his first of 2 pit stops for the race. And that could be more depending on cautions. This does have the makings of an all-green race, and now we'll see if Tarbuck or Fife react to the undercut. And just on cue, they both come in at the same time. So P2 and P3 both coming in. Schetzler as well. Height staying out for the additional lap, trying to get the lap led. She will do it. Caitlin Height leads her first laps of the race. First lead change, albeit under yellow. So Lane is down and away. See if Caitlin Height is going to try and extend to the 1-stop. She is bringing it in this time by. A little slippery on a pit road, but she gets it down all right. Brad Patton now inherits the race lead. On his 73rd lap of the stint. So the only 2 drivers to stay out are Patton and Schetzler. We'll see if they are going for the 1-stop. Schetzler and Patton both stay out. Caitlin Height into the pit lane is not going to come out, your race leader. Tom Wetmore, roaring through turns 3 and 4, actually is going to come out as your race leader. So the undercut has paid dividends. Tom Wetmore, new leader here at Dover. Pretty sizable lead as well. It's going to be around 2.5 seconds. So good job, Tom Wetmore. Playing the strategy right, gets the undercut done, and is now your race leader. So now it'll be up to Ethan Lane to charge him back down from what will cycle out to be second place, as Patton and Schetzler are both still out on track trying to get to the 1-stop. Coming up on halfway in about 25 laps time. So really right now the main thing to watch out for is going to be Tom Wetmore. He's got slower traffic in front of him, namely the 24 of Schetzler, who has now taken the lead over Brad Patton. Wetmore now unlaps himself on the 24 machine. So here comes Patton charging back at Wetmore. Sorry, Lane charging back on Schetzler. I got them all mixed up there. But Ethan Lane up into 4th. Unlaps himself from the race leaders. Brad Patton brings it to pit road, calls it quits on the 1-stop. That leaves Christopher Schetzler out to try and make the strategy work, so Patton perhaps going for the overcut. Battle for the race lead now, 5/10 between them. What'll effectively be the race lead once they cycle out. 5/10. That's all Ethan Lane's got to make up, but he's got to be careful. Don't want to use up your tires too much just yet. You want to make sure you have tires at the end of the race. Just 2/10 now between what will be your race leaders, but slow car Brad Patton going to be in the mix. It's going to stack up Ethan Lane a little bit, and Patton on fresher tires now going to be able to charge by Tom Wetmore as Lane tags the wall off turn 4. So this race now getting a little bit more interesting as some of the strategies start to develop. As Brad Patton's going to unlap himself on Tom Wetmore. Battle for the lead now well and truly on. Off turn 4, Lane's got to run. Going to try and put it to good use here as they go back towards turn 1 and 2. Lane charging up top, Wetmore holding strong on the bottom. Now here comes Lane back towards that apron. Down the back straightaway, they're fighting for the lead in a turn 3. Wetmore doing a good job holding on, but here comes Ethan Lane down the bottom. Battle for the race lead gonna end up in Ethan Lane's favor as he works his way down the inside of Tom Wetmore. Wetmore giving him just enough room to stay on the inside, but up into second place goes Ethan Lane. Once they all cycle through, that is going to be Ethan Lane up into the lead of the race. Don't count out Wetmore just yet, though. He is fighting back here with Ethan Lane. This is the closest battle we've seen all day. Christopher Daniel Slowcar going to get in the way of Ethan Lane off turn 4. That is going to let Wetmore turn in a little bit more shallowly into 3 and 4. Watch Wetmore here digging up top, going to send it back to the bottom. Gets a run on Ethan Lane. Schetzler has called it quits from the race lead, so he will not be going for the one-stop. Ethan Lane inherits the lead of Dover. Alan Rowell getting fully out of the way there, letting the two leaders get by. But it is going to be Ethan Lane holding the lead, and I think he's going to hold it for quite a while longer. Brad Patton, meanwhile, now on the freshest tires on the field. Currently P12. About 20 seconds away from race leader Ethan Lane. So we'll see if maybe that extreme overcut can work out for him. He will have fresher tires at the end of the race. Four tenths, the gap between your leaders. Got a little bit of battle right now for 7th between Cody Smith and Nicholas Ward. 4 tenths between them. That's what that looks like off turn 4. Ward, though, just falling back a little bit on Cody Smith. Smith pulls away. Maybe a battle for 15th developing here between Daniel and Rowell. Not really. Stage 2 coming to a close in 13 laps time, and it does look like Ethan Lane is poised to sweep the stages here at Dover. He is driving away from Wetmore now. Maybe Wetmore just trying to save his tires a little bit more for the end of the stint. Either that or Ethan Lane is just really good at going fast and saving tires at the same time. $11 to go. Stage 2. 1.5 seconds the gap between your race leaders. If you are just tuning in now, this is the Integrity Racing League here on the TMG Racing Network. Couple of lap cars now in between first and second. Meanwhile, in that battle for second, Nick Tarabuck is gaining on Tom Wetmore. Oh. Am I still alive? I do believe iRacing has crashed. I don't know if I am still live. Please stand by. We're going to attempt to fix this soon. Well, for the moment, you're going to have to join us from the virtual broadcast booth. Can confirm that iRacing did crash on me. We might have to do some troubleshooting here. We're experiencing some mechanical failures up in the booth, so please stand by. We'll be back shortly. We are back live now with the Integrity Racing League from Charlotte. Lap 100 underway. Last lap on the stage, Ethan Lane, working turns 3 and 4, is going to come around to pick up the Stage 2 victory. Ethan Lane, once again on the top spot, claims another 10 bonus points and wins Stage 2. 100 laps to go here at Dover. Three-car battle for third now, or sorry, for second. Tom Wetmore right now falling back into the clutches of Tarbuck and Fife, kind of stacking up that field, acting as a bit of a bottleneck as the rest of the field steams up to his back bumper. Tarbuck trying to find a way around him. Same for Fife. Here comes Tarbuck, looking low, trying to get that 51 loosened up a little bit. Lane continues to gap the field up front, but we got a great battle going on for second. Do apologize for the technical difficulties there. Still Nick Tarbuck trying to back live now. Oh dear. The Integrity Racing League from Charlotte, lap 100 underway. Sorry, I had the broadcast pulled up so I could make sure everything was all right on that end. My apologies once again. But here comes Nick Tarbuck, still trying to make that move on Tom Wetmore. Michael Dewell on fresher tires as well, working his way through the field, but a lap down. So he is gonna, whoa! I think Tarbuck tried to point him to the inside. Dewell was already going high. That got sketchy. But now Duell's going to work his way to the inside of Wetmore. And that right there was a big break for Tom Wetmore, who just got Nick Tarabuck stacked up and gave him a little bit of breathing room for a few corners. Now Tarabuck right back on the bumper of Wetmore as they go through 1 and 2 with Fife lurking behind. So if you are just joining us now after that little technical hiccup, this is the Integrity Racing League from Dover, working lap 106 of 200 here on the TMG Racing Network. So this right here, the main battle on track between Wetmore and Tarabuck, almost feels like a bit of a two-class race, with Ethan Lane in what is effectively the LMP1 class and everyone else in a GT3. He is just that much faster. Now here comes Tarabuck, looking high, gonna cross under Tom Wetmore off turn 2. Is he gonna dive to the bottom? No, he's gonna stay in line. Very hard to pass here at Dover, and I think we're seeing that right now between Wetmore and Tarabuck. Down to 3 and 4, Wetmore looking up top, gonna try and cross him under. There we go. He's got a big run here down the back straightaway, down to the inside. He's going to turn under him and going into 3 and 4. Up into second goes Nick Tarabuck. Great move out of the 4 car. So now you see the pace difference as Tom Wetmore falls back from the bumper of Nick Tarabuck, and Tarabuck is set to try and run down Ethan Lane. All these drivers likely approaching their final stops of the race. Tarabuck's making decent ground here on Lane. Now that he's kind of set free in second, he might be able to be in undercut range of Ethan Lane. With how much the tires have fallen off, it wouldn't surprise me. Jacob Fife, next driver, going to try and get on the inside of Tom Wetmore as Nick Tarabuck has sliced Ethan Lane's lead down to under 3 seconds. I don't know really what's happening here to Tom Wetmore, but he definitely doesn't have the pace that he seemed to have in the early stages of this run. Because he is now being attacked by Jacob Fife, who we've seen is one of the better cars on the long runs. That got a little close there. Through turns 1 and 2. Wetmore gets a little bit slidey off turn 2. Down to 3 and 4. The gap at the front still coming down for Ethan Lane. So an estimated 20 laps, I'd assume, until Ethan Lane comes into the pits again. And right now, he is under a lot of pressure from Nick Tarbuck. Oh. Sorry, I think my I thought my ATVO had crashed, because I hadn't switched drivers in a while, but it's just fine. So Nick Tarbuck is slicing that lead down quickly. If he can get even a one-lap undercut on Lane, that's going to be huge. So Tarbuck still taking a lot of time out of Ethan Lane's lead. Update on the battle for third. Fife is still trying to get around Tom Wetmore. Oh, got a little close to the outside wall there for Jacob Fife as he came off turn 2. Caitlin Hyde has worked her way into the top 5 as well, running slightly faster lap times than Fife, not than Wetmore. Tarbuck running still about 3/10 faster than Ethan Lane, as Fife gets loose off turn 4, going to lose a bit of ground. Now Jacob Fife just falling off the bumper of Tom Wetmore as Nick Tarbuck has worked his way within 2.1 seconds of your race leader Ethan Lane. He is charging right now. So like I said, if he can pull the undercut on Lane, he's got enough pace to win the race. We could see an upset here out of the Ford machine. Does look like Tarbuck's steam is maybe running out just a little bit. He is falling back on those lap times, but we are getting close to green flag pit stops once again. Already a couple of drivers coming in, but for the most part, we are focused on this battle for the lead, because for the first time all race, it looks like Lane's lead might be in jeopardy. Alright, let's go ahead and find a battle on track. Here we go, there's one for P9. Jody Banfield trying to get around Brad Patton, who's trying to get around Nick Ward. 3 cars battling for 8th. Patton gets the apron a little bit. Here comes Banfield with the head of steam off turn 2. This battle for 9th. You can see these drivers kind of moving around the track, trying to find grip in the middle of 3 and 4. Not quite as dramatic as we'd see in real life, but still a little bit of a rubber buildup effect here on iRacing. To the inside is that 98 machine. Now look it up high. As Nick Tarbuck gets the lead up front to 2.1 seconds again. He might have a second wind here as he tries to chase down race leader Ethan Lane. Look at Banfield, though. He is all the way up on the high side there in 1 and 2. It's given him a huge run off, too. It's definitely not race winning pace, but in this battle, it's helping him out quite a bit. Whoa, got a little close to the wall there off turn 4, but Banfield now down on the inside, gonna make that move for 9th. Patton getting a little close to the wall there. Up front, the lead is under 2 seconds now for Nick Tarabuck. So he's found something here in the closing stage of this race. He's charging. He's definitely charging. Can also confirm they are on the same strategy, I do believe. Unfortunately, ATVO cannot tell me how many laps are on their tires because the game crashed in the middle of pit stops. So it can only show me how long this race has been. And oh my goodness. Yeah, but the front is now down under 1.5 seconds. He is flying, Nick Tarabuck is. No lap cars between them either, so it is clean track up front. He's gonna get him soon. Nick Ward into the pits in that 99 machine. A lot of drivers coming in now. I have a feeling these leaders are going to stay out until around lap 140, maybe lap 150. Now the lead under 1.2 seconds. I don't know what's happening to Ethan Lane here, but he is losing time rapidly to Nick Tarabuck. If he keeps tracking at this pace next time by, the gap is going to be under a second for the first time in almost 100 laps. It'd be unfortunate if he just blinked out of the race right there. But Ethan Lane comes to the pit lane on lap 134 of 200, leaving Nick Tarabuck out front, and will he react? That is the question. Because on one hand, you could react to the undercut now and not lose too much time to Tarabuck, or you could stay out and try and get even fresher tires for the end of the race. They're both valid strategies. And at a track like Dover, I think the overcut might be especially valuable, but no, Nick Tarabuck brings it in this time by. So a smooth entrance for Tarabuck gives the lead to Jacob Fife and second to Caitlin Height. And there's Nick Tarabuck coming down the pit lane. Here's Ethan Lane, still in his box. Rolling out now. This is going to be close. Keep in mind they're on the same lap, I do think. Actually, no. Right now, Nick Tarabuck a lap ahead of Ethan Lane. So Tarabuck in his box. He's got to get out quickly. As Lane rounds... Oh, trouble! Lane gets into the back of Wetmore, pushes him up the track. Tarabuck's rolling out now. Lane gonna take back the lead at Dover, but Nick Tarabuck gonna have fresher tires by a lap, but that is gonna cost him massively. But that got a little close there between Lane and Wetmore, and does that give the 26 front end damage? It does! So could Ethan Lane be down on power? That is not what he wanted to see. Fife out of the pits now. Nick Tarabuck currently 2.8 seconds away from Ethan Lane, but he's got a less damaged car and 1 lap fresher tires. The race is on for the win. Height and Schetzler, the two drivers out on track out front. Caitlin Height has not stopped in at least 39 laps. So I doubt she'll be able to make it to the end on a one-stop, but it is possible. So 1 lap fresher tires for Tarabuck, and a slightly more damaged car for Lane. It would be the upset of the season if we could get Tarbuck to disrupt Ethan Lane up front, but you can't count it out just yet. And if a caution comes out soon, that's going to bail out Height and Schetzler. Never mind, Height is coming into the pit lane. That leaves Schetzler out on his own. And Lane is getting held up behind Tom Wetmore, and Wetmore might not be so reluctant or might not be so willing to give up the spot to Lane. Speaking of which, Tom Wetmore is technically your race leader right now. So he's pulled an undercut on the top two and pulled out the race lead. But he's been on these tires for 2 laps extra, and he's going to be falling back quickly, along with holding up Ethan Lane. Because after they're running in 3 and 4, I don't think Wetmore's going to be so reluctant to give up the lead. So this right here is the battle for first. Car on the wall, back straightaway. Jay Heishman tags the wall. That sends the 51 machine of Wetmore dodging 2 cars and stacks up the 26 on the outside of William Dunn. And all of this is going to set Nick Tarbuck flying up at your race leaders. Christopher Daniel, lap car, getting out of the way as they go into 3 and 4. And this race just got a lot more interesting. Lane close to the bumper of Tom Wetmore as they come through turns 3 and 4. And Wetmore squeezing Ethan Lane up into the 24 of Schetzler. Schetzler loses a bunch of ground, tags the outside wall. That's disastrous for him. Nick Tarbuck now 7/10 away from Schetzler and flying through the field right now. Ethan Lane still trying to put pressure on Tom Wetmore. Wetmore coping a lot better than he did last time by. Now look at this. Wetmore trying to pull Lane trying to pull a Banfield and move up high in 3 and 4. All this battling for the lead is going to hurt their tires, though. 55 laps to go. Next time by. Lane working the high side. That's going to hurt his right front, but it's gaining him time for now. It's obvious to me that Ethan Lane is faster than Tom Wetmore, but after they're running in 3 and 4, I just don't think Wetmore's going to be too reluctant to give up this race lead. 55 to go. We know how hard it is to pass at Dover. It's harder when the driver in front isn't willing to move. Lane took a swing at it in 3 and 4. He's going to charge back on exit. If he goes to the move, is Wetmore going to block him? Down at turn number 1, Wetmore cuts him off. Lane practically pushing him through 1 and 2. Wetmore blocking as they go into 3 and 4. You can tell Wetmore's not happy. Is he going to try and cover him off again and going into 1 and 2? Yes, he does. It's incredibly close up front. Lane is hungry for the race lead. Wetmore is hungry to keep him at bay, and Tarbuck is loving this. Look at Wetmore pull through the center of 3 and 4, and look at Lane come back at him on exit. Coming up on 50 to go. Once again, Wetmore just slamming the door on Ethan Lane. I think if Lane burns up his stuff too much here behind the 51, that could cost his tires. But that pushed the 51 of Lane up the track as he had the 94 of Rowell to deal with. Into the wall goes Ethan Lane off turn 4. Wetmore might have done a good job for now. 50 to go next time by. Tom Wetmore starting to pull away here from Ethan Lane. Lane coming back at him down the back straightaway. Nick Tarbuck, the underdog, coming from 3rd. A lot of aggressive racing up front, but a lot of good racing up front. One of the better races I've seen here in a long time. 50 to go. Yeah, Lane doesn't have quite what he had earlier on. He might have just succumbed to that dirty air. So that is going to put Wetmore out front. But Nick Terluck, we know he's the faster of the three cars now. He's charging from third. But we'll see if Ethan Lane can make another charge at the win here. I just think he might have burnt up his stuff. Ethan Lane's falling back. Tom Wetmore going for his second win on the season. Be impressive if he could do it, especially after the speed that Ethan Lane had throughout the race. And don't count out Nick Terbuck, at least not just yet. Yeah. Ethan Lane's out of juice. Tom Wetmore now the favorite to win. The pendulum has swung once again. And again, don't count out Terbuck. He is flying compared to the top two. Under 50 to go, and things are heating up. I'm just surprised right now because Ethan Lane was so fast early on in this race, and it's just all fizzled out here at the end. Wetmore got the track position, defended Lane for a good couple of laps. He held on to the pressure, and right now is leading at Dover. And Nick Terluck still, he is flying right now. 3/10 faster than Tom Wetmore and Ethan Lane. He has the freshest tires in the field. Of course, out of the, well, that is freshest tires out of the top three. There are a couple of drivers who came in around lap 150. Yeah, Lane's done. I don't think Lane has, and I don't think Lane can do it anymore. I think that at this point, it's going to be between Terbuck and Wetmore for the win. And you got to come down to it. When it comes down to the end, would Terbuck use the bumper to get around Wetmore? The gap now under a second for your top three. Terbuck can't waste any time here with Ethan Lane. He's got to get around him as quickly as possible. Down to the inside. Terbuck makes the move. He's up in a second. No time wasted there out of the Ford machine. A second between Wetmore and Terbuck. Wetmore on the cusp of his second victory of the season. Terbuck on the cusp of his first. Jay Heischman, fresher tires, goes down the inside of Terbuck, takes that spot away. That opens the door for Lane to come back at Terbuck. I don't think he's going to do it. And Nick Terbuck yet to win a race this season, but we've seen how strong he can be in a race like this, and with 40 to go, he might just be the favorite to win. 9/10 between your leaders. And look at that, Wetmore had to get out of the way for Heischman. That sliced the gap down 3/10 of a second. Terbuck is charging. I don't think Wetmore stands a chance here. He was able to fight off Ethan Lane, but Nick Terbuck is just so much faster than him. 3/10 between your leaders. Under 40 to go here at Dover. Don't tune away. You don't want to miss a thing. The gap at the front under 3/10 of a second. Nick Terbuck has done everything right all race. He's put himself in a spot to win. Now he could take advantage of it. Over a 10th between your leaders. Terbuck is going to have it done soon. Into 3 and 4. Tom Wetmore has held on brilliantly against the charge of Ethan Lane, but Wetmore a whole nother animal here. Sorry, Terabug. I keep getting them confused. Terabug, a whole other animal here. Just a tenth between the leaders now. Terabug's got the better grip. He's got the better traction. He's got the confidence he needs. Off turn 2, he's got the run. Kevin Matz now giving dirty air to the 51 of Wetmore. He doesn't have that advantage anymore, but Terabug's run is stalled out here. That's the way you got to race Dover, though. You just got to wait for an opportunity to come to you. You cannot force the issue. He's got to run here, going down the back straightaway, going into turn 3 and 4. Not quite enough to get alongside. Coming up on 30 to go. The superior tires on the 4 machine might pay dividends. Now Terabug going to try something new here. Going to go up top in 1 and 2. It got him out of dirty air for a second. But once he got back down to the bottom, that momentum kind of stalled out there. So he's probably not going to try that one again. Just got to be patient. That's all you got to do. Look at that run there through 3 and 4. Coming up on 30 to go. Wetmore leaves the bottom open. Terabug gets the door closed on him. Down the back straightaway once again. Wetmore up the track. Terabug on the bottom. 1/10 between your race leaders. Wetmore is just diamonding that center so much better, and it's giving him such a nice run off. That's the best way to defend here at Dover. Coming up on 30 to go, will Terabug use the bumper? He just doesn't have quite that. He just doesn't quite have that run on exit. 9 100ths between your race leaders. They are nose to tail for the win here. And on a day when we thought we would see Ethan Lane run away with the win, it ends up being between Terabug and Wetmore. Terabug going for his first win in 2021. And now it's about dealing with the pressure, not making any mistakes, minimizing those errors, and just staying perfect for another 30 laps. One slip up, one slight imprecision, and that is your race gone. Terabug moves up in 3 and 4 this time by. He's going to have a better run on exit. Here he goes! Defensive line in a 1 for Wetmore. Does Terabug dare to try the outside? He does! Contact up front. Wetmore holds on to the bottom. Oh, Terabug tags the wall. And that's going to set him back a little bit. The gap extends once again as Wetmore was defensive. Terabug tried the outside and walls it off turn 2. That's going to hurt his momentum as well. It's going to hurt that rhythm. Just 2 tenths between the leaders. I think Terabug still has enough. He's so close to his first win of the season. You can see it, you can smell it, you can feel it. Under 30 miles remaining. And it's just so obvious to me that Terabug is faster, but he's got to set up that pass. Wetmore knows how to drive under pressure. He did it at Martinsville. He's doing it again today. But how much longer can you hang on? Wetmore up the track. Here comes Terabug with another run at it. I think he knows from last time by that you cannot make a pass on the outside here. Traffic ahead. Will it play a factor? We've gone caution-free this entire race, and it is setting up for a duel to the finish. Wetmore slips up off 4. Terabug slips up more so. The gap extends that time by at the line. Terabug is so good on the bottom, but Wetmore is just so good on exit. The gap is building now between your top 2 as Terabug used up what he's got. He's just got to be patient here. He's got to try and make another charge at it. Identical laps last time by. Slow car in the way. Here comes Tarbuck with a run. Slow car compromised the exit of Tom Wetmore. It's going to compromise his entry as well. Will Crow get out of the way for Tarbuck? He will. They are back nose to tail for the lead. 25 laps to go. This is probably the closest battle we've seen for the win since Martinsville. Tarbuck is all over the back bumper of Wetmore. He goes to the inside, side by side in a 3 and 4. Wetmore slams the door. And this right here, it's the kind of racing we love to see. With 23 laps to go, the leaders are nose to tail and fighting hard for the race win. Lane has fallen back, not going to be a factor. It's between Tarbuck and Wetmore to win. So close to that outside wall, but those are the kind of limits you got to push here. Wetmore fell back that time by. They're not quite as close as they were before. Tarbuck, he has gonna try and get a run here. They're so close together, but just so much space between them. A tenth feels like a mile when you're in a battle like this. He's got to get a little closer. He has a tire advantage. It looks like he has a pace advantage. But he just can't get the positioning right. Coming up on 20 laps remaining. It almost feels like a certainty that at some point Tarbuck is going to find a way around Wetmore. But at the moment, he has nowhere to go. If it came down to it, though, I think on the last lap, he would be willing to use the bumper. At some point, you gotta just do what you gotta do to win one of these things. And if a bump and run is what it takes, then a bump and run is gonna happen. 19 laps remaining from Dover. Tarbuck's falling back, though. Now, only 2 tenths between your leaders. Have the tires stabilized. And Wetmore, he's just able to arc the corner a lot more, and I think that's what's giving him his advantage. Tarbuck is closer on this occasion. I think he's just got to try a little bit more of a diamond line here. Oh, he's right there, though. He's on the bumper. 17 laps to go. Wetmore out of the groove. He shuts the door again on Tarbuck and closes the gap off. Back to 2 tenths between the leaders. Tarbuck is trying his best, but Wetmore is holding on beautifully. Tarbuck's falling back this time by. He might just need to cool the tires here. He's close. He's so close. There's a lot of traffic ahead as well, starting with the 97 of Nick Zotner. That could play a factor in the battle for the win here. And Wetmore goes a little bit wide there through 3 and 4, gets stacked up with William Dunn. It's going to hurt him in a 1 and 2 here. I think Zotner's going to hurt Tarbuck, though. He's not going to help. He's not going to play him any favors on exit. That's really going to compromise him. Back to 3 tenths between the leaders. Tarbuck's just got to regroup and give it another shot here. His advantage hasn't gone away, but he's got to try and run him back down. 13 to go. It's just so obvious that he's so much faster. I mean, in one corner there, he took half a tenth out of Wetmore's lead. Three tenths with 12 laps to go. Everyone up to 10th has been lapped and put a lap down, and a caution could change everything. Wetmore wide off turn 4. Can Terrebonne get a run out of it? 2 tenths between the leaders. And the advantage is obviously not as much as it once was for Nick Terrebonne, but he's still got a lot of speed in that 4 car. He's back to where he was a few laps ago. 10 to go at the line. They just get so close to that outside wall. A tenth and a half between your leaders. 9 to go this time by. Time is running out for Nick Terrebonne, but he is all over the bumper of Tom Wetmore. He's got to get the pass done soon. 9 laps to go. Traffic ahead. 99 of Nick Ward. He's going to stack up race leader Tom Wetmore, takes the air off his nose, slips up the track a little bit. That'll compromise his entry. Oh, that's really going to compromise him. Now here comes Terrebonne to the middle. 3 wide with the slow car. Terrebonne's going to have the run. They touch. Nothing there. It was a valiant effort by Terrebonne to try and get in the middle of those two, but he was not able to make the move. Wetmore wide off turn 4. 6 laps remaining. Sorry, 7 laps remaining. Slow car as they come off turn 2. It'll be the 79 of Christopher Daniel. That'll once again compromise Wetmore's entry into 3 and 4. Terrebonne's lining up a good exit here. He might have it this time by. 6 to go. Not at the stripe. Still Tom Wetmore in the lead. Wetmore is fighting with his life right now. Can he close the deal? It'll be so difficult for him to do. Terrebonne has full control of the situation right now, but he's got to try and make that move. 5 to go at the line. He's going to try and make the pass clean first, I know it. Drifts up in 1 and 2, gets ready to diamond the exit. He's all over the quarter panel of Tom Wetmore. Here they go into 3 and 4. To the inside. Not on this occasion. But another great exit by Nick Terrebonne is going to give him what he needs. 4 to go. Almost tagged the wall there at Dover. On the exit of turn 4, he had the run. They're nose to tail. Under a tenth between them. Here they come off turn 2. Three to go at the line. Wetmore knows what he needs to do. Terrebonne knows what he needs to do. Terrebonne has the run. Is he going to dive to the inside? 3 laps to go. Here he goes. Wetmore once again closes the door on him, but he's going to try again on the exit of turn 2. They're nose to tail. They have been for the past 3 laps. One of the greatest battles I've seen at Dover. It's going to come down to 2 laps to go. Terrebonne is there. Wetmore is too. Nose to tail as they come to 2 to go. Traffic in front. He'll stay out of the way. White flag this time by with 1 to go. Do you use the bumper? White flag one more time around here at Dover. Wetmore has held on perfectly. He has managed everything he has to do. The finish of this race in the hands of Nick Tarbuck. Nose to tail as they enter 3 and 4. For the final time at Dover, Tom Wetmore is going to hang on to the pressure. He leads them through 3 and 4. For the second time this season, Tom Wetmore is a winner in the Integrity Racing League. And what a finish between Wetmore and Tarbuck. Wetmore gets him at the line despite Tarbuck's best efforts, and Ethan Lane, who was dominant all race, comes home with a gut-wrenching third-place finish. But for the second time this season, it is Tom Wetmore in victory lane. And a beautiful job by Tom Wetmore to hang on to the pressure. He dealt with everything thrown at him, and he is the winner at Dover. What a job by that 51 machine. Well done, Tom Wetmore. He's going to burn it down in the front straightaway. An incredible drive by Tom Wetmore gets him his second win of the season. A job well done. So a huge shout out to Tom Wetmore for taking the win here at Dover. He dealt with all the pressure thrown at him and comes out on top. He wins for the second time this season. Let's go ahead and pull him up into the booth. All right, here we go. Tom, it's Jonathan Oates up in the TMG broadcast booth. You got us?
I sure do, Jonathan. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. That was an incredible battle there between you and Tarbuck for what seemed like pretty much the entire race. It was only about 50 laps with that. That was incredibly stressful for me up here in the booth. I'm sure it was even more so for you in the race car. Just walk us through those last couple of laps there with that battle with Nick.
Man, it all started coming off pit road. The only thing that matters here is, track position and tires, and I had neither. And came out just barely in front of Ethan Lane there and had to hold him off, burned up everything I possibly had. And I watched him fade and had one moment of one fresh breath, and then I saw Treebush come into my mirror, and I didn't know what was going to happen. So, I mean, props to him. He gave it everything he had. Everything short of the bumper to make it happen, and I just, man, racing with the guys in this league at Integrity Racing, I tell you that they don't run cleaner here, and if it wasn't for guys like Nick Treebush and Ethan Lane, I don't know if this place would be a whole lot as much fun as it is, man.
Yeah, I mean, we saw you had an incredible battle there with Nick for about the last 50 laps. It was, I mean, he closed in about a 3-second gap. He had fresher tires. How are you able to hold on that well despite a pretty big disadvantage?
A blessing and a curse. A blessing for me a little bit is that Dover's a little bit of a one-lane racetrack. It makes it a little bit more challenging to be able to get around somebody, and being able to hold the bottom and burn off your rear tire as opposed to the front so the car doesn't shove into the fence off the corner. I mean, it all came down to tire management there at the end, and Jonathan, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank some of the guys that helped me get here. TubeTech LLC, this is actually a throwback car for them. So this red car that you may see on the screen now is actually a throwback to the 1990s, back to the owner of TubeTech, the CEO. He actually ran super late models, so it's a throwback to him. And gosh, man, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the guys from Garage Moon Power down there in Atlanta, Georgia. Those guys come on the car this year, and it's cool to put them in victory lane not once, but twice, man.
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of mentioning it throughout the race that this is going to be your second win of the season. It's a huge boost going into the playoffs. You've clearly established yourself as one of the drivers who can come out here and win. What are your expectations in maybe going for a championship?
They certainly just got a whole lot higher. I mean, this was one of the tracks that we had marked on our schedule. Basically, if there's concrete on it, we're interested in it, and we were interested in Martinsville and was able to pull that one off, and Dover turned out the same way. So we have to hope that we'll do well on those tracks. The problem is, there's a lot of different tracks in the playoffs that I don't exactly have earmarked on the schedule. So definitely gonna require a lot of work, a little bit of practice, and there's some fast cars out here. I mean, like you saw tonight, Nick running me down, Ethan, fastest car all night long. So there's guys that I think maybe that are definitely faster than me that I'm gonna have to up my game to even try to compete.
Lastly, it was an incredible job for you. Anyone else that you'd like to thank for getting the race win?
Yeah, I do got to thank my mom sitting there. She watches every single race every single race that we come out and do. If it's good, she cheers. If it's bad, she makes fun of Michael Duell and that makes an enemy for life. So it's a little bit of everything, and she comes out and watches every single race. So got to give a shout out to her, and again the guys down at Atlanta, Garage Moon Power, and the guys who own Tube Tech LLC and work for them there, their company. They watch these things on Monday nights too. So I'm lucky I get to put it in victory lane not once but twice, and do it with a special paint scheme. So it's really cool. Thanks, Jonathan.
No problem, Tom. You drove an incredible race out there. Massive congratulations. We're going to go ahead and send you back.
Awesome, man.
And that was Tom Wetmore, race winner here at Dover, second time this season. Going to be one of the drivers to look out for as we get closer to the playoffs and closer to that championship all the way in November in Phoenix. Next up, we're going to bring second place Nick Tarabuck up into the booth. Nick, it's Jonathan Oates up in the TMG broadcast booth. You got us?
Absolutely.
Well, it might not have been the result you wanted, but still a very strong second place finish here at Dover. We saw that you were one of the fastest cars on the long runs, but it really only came alive in that second half of the race. What do you think made the difference there between the first half and the second half?
I think the first half and the second half, the difference was the second half I had some clean air, and I could actually run the car that I wanted to instead of having to try to keep up with, Ethan and Tom and all those guys that were up there. So once I had some room to myself, I could really, sport the car's full potential. But unfortunately, there at the end, man, could not get the bottom, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, we saw there at the end, you made a massive charge to catch up to Tom Wetmore. Everything kind of stalled out from there, and you were kind of stuck behind him. How hard was it to get a pass done here at Dover?
It is insanely hard, and I don't want to go on as some spiel, but it's also, in my opinion, insanely unrealistic. I mean, I was at the race yesterday, and it's like cars were high, low, making huge runs off the turns and down the straightaway, and it's just like, I mean, I tried that once this race, and I just couldn't do anything. I mean, it was ridiculous. So I figured that the only chance I had was to have Tom make a mistake, which he rarely does, or me to nudge him, but I'm not that kind of guy. I don't like to nudge people out of the way to win. So it's just unfortunate that the car was so fast and I had such a good run there, but that's the way it is. I got to play by the rules of the game, and that's how it goes. Yeah,
and we saw throughout the first couple of races this season that you're definitely one of the faster drivers in this league, but today it seemed like you were on a completely different form. I mean, you were really fast today. You really established yourself as one of the fastest drivers out here. What does that mean as you get closer to the playoffs and trying to get more of those race wins, or I guess your first race win?
Yeah, I mean, I know Bristol's coming up, and I was pretty quick there last time. At least I think it's coming up in this car. I got to say Dover is just like my home track, so a win here would have been really sweet. But the reason why I'm so consistent here is because every time I'm like bored and want to play a game, I just load into Dover and do hundreds of laps. So if I'm not good here, then something's really wrong. But I think it does bode well for the rest of the season. I think I have a good chance at, making it pretty far in the playoffs, and I hope to get at least a win or two this season. I feel like I deserve one, but got to earn it.
Yeah, I mean, you've worked really hard throughout the season, especially in this race. Anyone you'd like to thank for the result?
Oh, yeah, I just want to thank you guys for broadcasting. I want to thank all the boys, as usual, Josh, Tate, Justin, Parker, my family for watching, Katie. Let's go on to the next one, I guess, Coda.
Yeah, Circuit of the Americas coming up next Monday night here on TMG. Nick, we thank you for joining us. That's going to do it for your interview, so we're going to go ahead and send you back.
All right, thanks, man. Have a good one.
You too. And that was Nick Tarabuck, came up just short of a win here at Dover despite a very, very impressive performance. Can't really hang your head up too much on that because that was an incredible drive there to get second in tonight's race. Next up, we're going to bring up Ethan Lane, who came home in third. After a bit of fall off there on the last run, we'll get his take on it. Ethan, it's Jonathan Oates up in the TMG broadcast booth. You got us?
I got you.
Well, man, it was an incredible first and second stage. You swept them both, but in the end there, it looks like you might have just fallen off a little bit. Talk us through what happened there on that last half of the race.
Didn't have clean air. That's what it came down to. And when you don't have clean air with these type of setups we have right now, it's you're just not gonna like be able to do anything. No matter like you could be 2-3 tenths quicker, but if you don't have clean air, you're not getting around anyone.
Well, we saw that you had a lot of speed earlier on in the race. You won stage 1, you won stage 2. You've definitely established yourself throughout the season as one of the faster drivers. What do you think that means for you and your championship chances? You get a little bit closer to that to the playoffs and the finale in Phoenix.
I mean, we got a good shot. We got to get to the playoffs first and then make it to the championship. I think if we do get to the final four, we definitely have a really good shot at pulling this thing off. We have to find a way to start finishing races and winning them more when we have a dominant car.
Yeah, and I mean, I think, like you mentioned, I think that executing races is one of the harder things to do on iRacing. We saw you were able to get it done back at the Daytona road course. We're going to a road course next week, so definitely a good shot there. But is there anything that you think that maybe the team is kind of missing in terms of getting the results instead of just the stage wins?
It just comes down to driver. I mean, I made too many mistakes tonight. With the steering box we run or we have to run, it's very light down the straightaway, so it's kind of hard to arc it out and then get it back to the bottom without hitting the wall. And we definitely hit the wall a few too many times. Probably had like 45 seconds of damage at the end of the race, which definitely didn't help us down the straightaway or with handling at all. It just comes down to execution by the driver.
Well, like I mentioned, we are going to the Circuit of the Americas next week. You were very strong in the Daytona road course earlier in the season. How do you fancy your chances as you go into next Monday?
I don't know. Haven't really run Coda at all. Haven't turned any laps. So this week for official racing will be a test to see where we're at and how it actually drives. If it drives anything like Daytona, I think we'll be in a good shape to come out with a W.
All right, well, we appreciate your time. Anyone you'd like to thank for the result?
I want to thank Don for continuing putting on this league, for y'all for broadcasting, and the HPM just for helping me learn how to drive.
All right, well, we appreciate your time. Congratulations on your third place finish. Good luck next week. We're going to go ahead and send you back.
All right, thank you.
I didn't even need to disconnect him. That was Ethan Lane, driver of the 26, came home 2 spots short of a victory, but still a very impressive run tonight. Gets him a top 3 here at the Dover International Speedway. And as for coverage tonight, that is going to do it. We appreciate you all tuning in for tonight's race. Next Monday evening, we head to the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas for the second road course race of the season. Personally, I'm very excited for that. I've seen a lot of really good racing at COTA in this car in my own experiences. So I'm very excited to go there next Monday night. We hope you all tune in as well. But for the TMG Racing Network, this has been Jonathan Oates signing out from the Dover International Speedway. We will see you all next Monday. Goodbye, everybody.